We are excited for you to be a part of this project focused on the Huron River Water Trail. This webinar will train you to conduct surveys for research led by the Huron River Watershed Council and the Seidman Research Office of Grand Valley State University. The Huron River Watershed Council is so grateful for all the volunteers who have shown interest in this project. We appreciate your commitment and couldn't do it without you. Thank you. The outcome of this survey project is to measure the economic value of the Huron River Water Trail. The Huron River Watershed Council will use the data gained from this survey to support the trail and its future. And because research projects like this are relatively rare, the surveying work that you do will provide research that may assist other trails throughout Michigan and even the nation. This brief webinar will train you how to conduct surveys along the Huron River corridor. We hope to provide clarity about survey procedures, give you language and a strategy to engage water trail users in answering survey questions, and simply cover a few nuts and bolts of surveying so that your volunteer time is used well. In a few moments, you will learn what we mean by a random sample. We will give you tips for approaching the survey taker. You don't have to survey everybody. We'll give you some guidance for handling questions and even challenges which are not common. We also have tools to help you keep count of water trail users. The most important rule in conducting a random survey like this is to apply the rules consistently. Because this is a random survey, you will count Huron River corridor users and survey only every third, fourth, seventh, ninth person. It depends. It depends on how busy the water trail is. If there is heavy traffic while you are volunteering, for example, you're at Argo Park in Ann Arbor on a Sunday, you may want to survey only every 15th person. If traffic is light, you may want to survey every third person. Remember, the most important rule: apply rules consistently. Whatever frequency you choose, stick with it. If things change and the traffic becomes very busy or very slow, you can change your number and then stick with that new number. You should let your counting method determine who you survey. Surveying should be done at pinch points, places where people are waiting around with not much to do. A good location is where people are coming off the river. Find places after people are done with their recreation, not as they are getting started. They will be more willing to answer the survey if they have already enjoyed the river corridor. Most commonly, you will survey people as they pass by. Sometimes you may encounter a line, such as people lined up to fish, and you can count according to your system and ask people to complete the survey. You will use a distinct blue plastic box for collecting surveys. Allow people to place their own surveys in the opening on the lid of the box. As you count people, choose a direction of flow and stick with it. There is not a quota of surveys to be completed per shift. We won't be surveying people who are not at least 18 years old. Research rules at Grand Valley State University prohibit us from doing that. Do not include children as you count people who pass by. Stick to adults and teens who look like they might be 18. However, the survey asks their age, so people who are younger than 18 will drop out without you having to do anything. Each location has a designated park where we would like you to survey, and it's up to you to position yourself in a relatively busy area with a good flow of people. A landing where people are coming off the river is an excellent choice. Make sure your location will not be biased, for example, by being too close to a restroom used by people of one gender. You'll want to be in a popular place, and remember to count every third, fourth, ninth person, whatever number you decide. Choose a number and stick with it. In most cases, you will work with a partner. Divide up the work. One of you might count, the other might hold the clipboard and approach the designated person. Each supply kit will contain a clicker. Use it to track people as they pass by, so you know which one to stop and ask to complete the survey. We realize you might need to politely and safely stop a runner or a biker. Choose your number and stick with it. If you lose count, just start at the point you think you left off, or start over. Just do the best you can. Resist the temptation to just ask the next person who walks by. As you approach the designated person, simply ask, "Are you willing to take a short survey?" Do not say, "Can you help us out?" Avoid any words that make it sound like the survey taker is doing you a favor or helping the project. These words bias the outcome. Remember, just simply ask, "Are you willing to take a short survey?" Of course, people will say no. That's fine. If they do not want to take the survey, draw a line through the survey and place it in the collection box. We collect the rejected surveys as well as the completed ones. Then, resume your counting method and ask the third, fifth, ninth person, whatever your number is, who passes by. It's tempting to just ask the next person you see, but we don't expect that everyone will say yes. Put a line through those surveys that are refused and put them in the box. People will ask questions about the survey. The best response is, do the best you can. If they don't want to answer a question, it's okay to skip a question. Do not try and talk someone into an answer. We want respondents to think on their own. The survey does not have any identifying information on it and cannot be tied back to any one person. Here's what bias sounds like. Suggesting an answer like, "You look like a frequent user of the trail." Also, resist the urge to talk people into taking the survey. We don't expect a 100% response rate. Finally, if people question you about the survey, the best response is a neutral response. Just do the best you can. People will use a clipboard that is found in your supply box to complete the survey themselves and then place the survey in the box. If people ask a lot of questions, resist getting involved in trying to answer them. Remind them that you are a volunteer. Wear a Huron River Watershed Council cap or shirt, or wear the badge that is in your supply kit. Here are a few strategies to handle unusual situations. When you stop one person who is part of a couple and the person you have chosen hands it off to the other, please ask the designated person to complete it themselves. You can briefly explain that you are following a precise counting protocol. If someone requests a survey, explain that you are following a precise counting protocol. If they insist, give them a survey and ask them to return it to you. At a later point, discreetly write "Do not use" on the survey, as they are not part of your count. If people argue with you or protest, just thank them and move on. At a later, discreet moment, cross out the survey and put it in the box and resume your count. If a person is problematic, for example, they seem drunk, discreetly mark the survey with "Do not use" and resume your count. You will receive pre-numbered surveys. Please use them in order. The numbering simply helps us with data entry. At the end of your shift, please complete a simple checkout sheet included with your supplies. Put used and unused surveys and the checkout sheet in a Ziploc bag when your shift ends. Here is what the checkout sheet looks like. We want to know the date and time of your shift, the counting method you used, and where you surveyed. If anything remarkable happened during your shift, you can report it to us. This sheet also contains 2 cell phone numbers for your use if you have an emergency or a pressing question. Your supply box will contain instructions about what to do with surveys and supplies at the end of your shift. We have surveying opportunities from now until the middle of July. Surveying will take place at 5 different trail towns: Ann Arbor, Dexter, Flat Rock, Milford, and Ypsilanti. Each volunteer shift lasts 2 hours. Shifts are scheduled from early morning until evening, so you can volunteer at the most convenient time and place for you. In Flat Rock, volunteers will survey at Huron Park. Remember, landings are a good location to position yourself when people are finished with their recreation. In Ypsilanti, find a pinch point or crowded location at Riverside Park. In Ann Arbor, the Argo Canoe Livery will likely be the busiest place. In Dexter, find a high-traffic area at Mill Creek Park. In Milford, Central Park's landing area is a good spot for surveying people. We hope this webinar provided clarity for all of your questions. However, if you have any further questions, you can ask your surveying partner, call or text one of the cell numbers provided on the checkout sheet, or email me, Julie Cowie. Thank you for completing this training webinar, and especially thanks for your interest in the Huron River Watershed Council research project conducted by Grand Valley State University. For details about how to sign up for shifts, visit HRWC.org.